connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Senior reporter Roland Barris, and we've got a packed show this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters. This morning we're going to start off letting you know about what Alexander Huddleston has for us following the efforts of the Idaho Downwinders, who, after getting their own compensation for nuclear waste exposure, are now looking to help another community that was exposed. Plus, coming up in our next half hour, the Consalves family critical of the Brian Kohberger plea, as they say too many questions are left unanswered as a result. We'll hear from them ahead of Kohberger's sentencing, which is coming up, by the way, on Wednesday. And we'll get to those stories coming up in just a little bit, but first, let's get the latest on our weather as you get ready to head out the door with Sophia Cruz. Looking like a pretty nice day, other than maybe a lot of the smoke that's been coming in.
Yeah, the smoke has been going in and out really throughout the weekend, and we will still see a bit today, but what we'll also see is some rain and a chance of storms for this afternoon. Now, taking a look at Sun Valley, that cloud coverage already increasing in this area. It's possible you could see a few isolated showers through Sun Valley today, but I think a lot of that rain is going to focus over eastern Oregon and make its way into the west central mountains. So through the area right now, waking up from Burns, stretching all the way to Lewiston, a heavier band of rain is now going to move through this area, Baker City even. So if you're heading out there this morning, just a heads up, all of that rain is really going to focus again over those eastern portions into the west central mountains. So the Treasure Valley and Magic Valley starting off the day nice and dry. The good news about the rain rolling is that it's going to make it feel a lot cooler in those areas, and then it's also, we're going to look at a cooler afternoon just in general.
That does sound good. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. Turning now to the latest cuts from the Trump administration that left public broadcasting $1 billion down in funding. Our Allie Tripke explains local impacts here in Idaho.
Public media here in Idaho is at risk after the House voted to rescind over $1 billion in federal funding to public broadcasts across the nation. I'm Boise State neighborhood reporter Allie Tripke, and Boise State Public Radio says this could deepen news deserts in parts of Idaho.
But imagine 1/5 of your budget going away.
For nearly 50 years,
public media is free and available to everyone.
Boise State Public Radio has been providing national and local news to the furthest corners of Idaho, a service at risk following recent approval of federal funding cuts.
Especially in those rural areas, it's more of the budget. And there's a real concern that we're going to have growing news deserts across the country.
When you say news desert, how does that impact rural Idahoans?
Sure. This is real-time information for people. We're talking about critical weather alerts. We're talking about wildfire evacuations. And we're just talking about daily news and weather, too.
Both of Idaho's senators, Republicans Jim Risch and Mike Crapo, voted in approval. Senator Risch said in a statement that he's in favor of reducing, quote, woke and excessive funding. Then late Thursday night, the House passed the bill by a vote of 216 to 213. Idaho Representatives Russ Fulcher and Mike Simpson both voting yes. The measure is now on its way to the president's desk, taking away 20% of Boise State Public Radio's budget.
It's almost even more important to have outlets like ours and like yours in this media ecosphere when anyone can pose as a journalist. So it's real devastating loss to lose this funding.
Boise State Public Radio will continue to explore alternate routes of funding so they don't have to cut off services to the most rural parts of Idaho. Here at Boise State, I'm neighborhood reporter Allie Tripke for Idaho News 6.
An update on the Cram Fire, now nearly 100,000 acres large, burning in north central Oregon. The smoke from the fire is causing a light haze over the Treasure Valley right now, but crews made significant progress over the weekend with containment up to 73% now. Evacuation orders are also in effect, including level 3 go now orders for certain areas closest to the fire. You can find the latest evacuation orders on our website, idahonews6.com.
Downwinders in Idaho are thrilled to finally see compensation from nuclear bomb testing in the 1950s. However, they aren't satisfied just yet. I'm your imminent neighbor reporter, Alexander Huddleston, and as I've reported, Guam did not see that same compensation. So I'm speaking with the movement leader in Guam and Senator Mike Crapo about what is next.
Guam was exposed to nuclear fallout since 1946 to 62, and it was kept secret.
While citizens on the mainland bared through the effects of nuclear fallout from testing sites in Nevada, the people of Guam saw same impacts from the tests done near the Marshall Islands.
We were inundated with ionizing radiation from 67 nuclear hydrogen bombs. For a small island like ours, we have high rates of kidney diseases, kidney cancer, and every compensable disease they have on Rika, we have. And so we had the science, we had the evidence.
Robert Celestial is an atomic veteran. He says while serving in the U.S. Army, he served on the cleanup crew, scraping through the beaches of the Marshall Islands, clearing nuclear debris, putting him and several others in direct contact with the toxins.
I was given a full medical retirement. I'm compensated.
But the people of Guam, who were unaware of the government testing, are not. So I reached out to Senator Mike Crapo, who has been spearheading this legislation for nearly 2 decades.
Getting any kind of legislation through the United States Congress these days is really a haphazard process.
With so many different perspectives from different states, branches, and levels of government, Crapo says for Guam to move forward, they need to make allies.
Not every state was impacted the most or the same. And so different states have different priorities. And Guam is at a bit of a disadvantage because it's not a state. Guam does not have a congressman or a senator. And so they need to rely, I believe, on the downwinders in the 50 United States territories.
Our cancers are no different than their cancers. And the devastation that it has on a lot of families here in Guam are similar to those in the States.
But with the win getting Idaho back into legislation after being axed from the compensation deal, Crapo believes it will boost the support to include Guam.
But I do think there's some momentum that comes out of seeing the unfairness of not having everyone who should be covered included.
Senator Crapo says it is now back to the drawing board to get Guam their very deserved share of compensation. I'm your M&A reporter, Alexander Huddleston, for Idaho News 6.
We call Banks the center of the universe for whitewater, and it gets really busy up here during the summer.
Hi, Boat Eagle!
I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and this year boaters have fewer parking spots, and that's causing issues at this popular recreation site.
Hold on, Hunter. Hold on to the boat.
Banks serves as the put-in for the main payette, the busiest rafting section in our area, but it also serves as the takeout for boaters coming down the North Fork and the South Fork. The Boise National Forest told us this area had 2,600 visitors on the 4th of July last summer.
I think everyone's frustrated, and I think some of the local residents and kayakers and recreationalists, we all, I think, feel the same about the pressures here, and it's frustrating all of us.
Parking has become an issue, especially on the weekends. Boaters like the renovations the Forest Service did at Banks, but they believe they lost spots when the lines were painted, and boaters haven't been able to park at this pullout across the river.
From both perspectives, we've lost parking, and it just seems more and more challenging when you come up here to find a spot without having to end up on 55 or someplace less safe than the Banks parking lot.
In previous years, kayakers used the gravel lot as a takeout because they don't need a ramp, and it helps separate the user groups. But the Idaho Transportation Department closed it off with a guardrail when they installed the new signal light this spring.
And it's all dealing with safety. So with the traffic signal up now, you know, it's the queuing. It just makes it impossible for anybody that's parking there to be able to get in and safely navigate that intersection.
So now everybody uses the main parking lot, which has understandably frustrated residents that live up the Banks grade when people park illegally on the side of the road. The Boise County Sheriff's Office issued a warning this past week that vehicles parked here will be ticketed with a $116 fine.
I think everyone's feeling the pressure, local residents, recreators, Boise County Sheriff.
It's a tricky issue because this only happens in the summer in an area that barely has room for the river and the road. Boaters would like to see the ITD lot converted into a parking area, but that's actually owned by the Boise National Forest, and the gravel pullout won't be open anytime soon.
So the plan is, you know, kind of the tentative plan is to widen the bridges on Highway 55 and then also widen the local bridge right there on the west side of 55. And so that way we'd have a network, we'd have some turn lanes, we'd have some through lanes.
The Idaho Transportation Department wants you to know if you have an opinion, people can comment on any project ITD is working on across the state until the end of July. I'll include a link to do so on our website.
Best friends that anyone could have.
I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, for Idaho News 6.
The firestorm over the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation is not going away. And this morning, a big push from Democrats and Republicans alike for increased transparency. Hey everybody, 12 minutes past the hour on this Monday, everyone. Let's take a look at your national headlines now today. It is a big day in the months-long battle between Harvard University and the Trump administration. A federal judge is hearing oral arguments for two related lawsuits. Now, they challenge the government's freezing of billions of dollars in funding for Harvard. President Trump argues the school's DEI efforts are discriminatory. He alleged its handling of pro-Palestinian demonstrations was harmful to Jewish students. The school argues Trump really wants, quote, control over its academic enterprise. The second lawsuit is from a faculty group, and it makes similar arguments. Americans largely oppose recent efforts by President Trump's administration to scale up its deportation program. A new CNN poll conducted by SSRS found that 55% of those surveyed said the president has gone too far when it comes to deporting immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. That is up 10 points since February. And today marks the beginning of a special session in the Texas legislature that could have major national implications. Republicans there will begin redrawing the state's congressional map at President Trump's request. The idea is that redrawing the map will help the GOP hold on to power in the U.S. House of Representatives in next year's midterm elections. State lawmakers will also address this month's deadly flooding in central Texas during that special session. Now to the latest on the Jeffrey Epstein files. This morning, some House Republicans are joining Democrats in a push to release all the grand jury testimony. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
The firestorm over the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation is not going away. Now, a greater push for transparency as some congressional Republicans break ranks to join Democrats to push for a vote to release the files on the convicted sex offender. The resolution would carry no legal weight, but shows the outrage some lawmakers feel from their own base.
This town does not give up its secrets easy.
President Trump ordered the Justice Department to request the release of grand jury transcripts related to Epstein. But that could take time, requiring a federal judge's approval. And legal experts say the transcripts may not reveal any new details and likely only cover a fraction of the evidence gathered. Democrats are slamming the president for trying to shift the blame.
So the president blaming Democrats for this disaster, Jake, is like that CEO that got caught on camera blaming Coldplay.
Trump gave the order to his Justice Department to release the grand jury transcripts just hours after the Wall Street Journal reported on a letter Trump allegedly sent Epstein for his birthday in 2003. ABC News has not confirmed the existence of the letter. Trump is now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the paper, including its conservative owner, Rupert Murdoch. In the lawsuit, Trump alleges the Journal, quote, falsely claimed that he authorized, drew, and signed a letter to Epstein containing salacious language with a hand-drawn naked woman, which was created with a heavy marker, and that no authentic letter or drawing exists. Dow Jones, the parent company of the Wall Street Journal, says they are standing by their reporting. Epstein's former lawyer says Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, should testify before Congress, saying, quote, she knows everything. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
We take you on a ride along with the Boise Greenbelt Ambassadors.
Hey, Ketchum, you've got a cool start to the day with lower 80s this afternoon. I have all the details on the storms moving through this afternoon.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Rise and shine, everyone. Your time right now is 6:18, and thanks for starting your Monday morning with us. This really start of the week is going to be super nice. We've got 80s coming our way this afternoon, and a big really help of why we're seeing that cooler weather come through is this front. Now, eventually, this is going to stall out over the area, and what's going to happen is we'll look at some nice cooler weather for the afternoon ahead, but also bringing on some showers to our friends in eastern Oregon right now. Now, all of this cool weather is coming from Canada, so that northwesterly flow, as it continues to sit over us, expect a really good afternoon. Now, waking up this morning, it's also still pretty nice out there. You've got 61 in Glenns Ferry, 65 in Boise, 67 over in Caldwell. Our mountains, mid-50s, some areas still touching in those 40s. But by the afternoon ahead, we're not going to look too different from the mountains. You've got mid-80s along your valley floors, with the hottest spot being 92 in Glenns Ferry, 80 coming your way in Stanley, Pine, Fairfield, all looks really nice this afternoon. So if you do want to get outside, again, it'll be cool, but you will want to grab the umbrella, especially if you're making your way out to eastern Oregon or over into our west central mountains. So throughout the morning from Baker City up to Lewiston, showers will move through by the afternoon and evening ahead. So this goes into 6 o'clock. You'll notice that they scatter from Pendleton all the way to McCall, Cascade. Even at this time, it's possible we could see a few lighter showers here in the Treasure Valley, but I think our valley floors will be mainly the dry spot today. Now, moving on to tomorrow morning, we see this influx of clouds coming from Mountain Home all the way to Salmon, stretching over us throughout the start of the day. By the afternoon ahead, it's possible we could see a few scattered showers over in Rome, maybe a few isolated showers over into our Magic Valley, but then things start to really clear out. So if you're anywhere in those areas where you get some heavy rain today, it's going to feel pretty nice over there, especially with that rain-cooled air coming in. But for all of us today, we do have that chance to see some thunderstorms from Ontario upwards towards northern Idaho. That same story goes east of the Magic Valley. So if you're in Twin Falls and just eastward, that's where you could also look at some thunderstorms for this afternoon. So you notice that the really heart of the Treasure Valley from Boise to Mountain Home isn't in this threat, but again, on top of that, we are still going to be looking and expecting heavy downpour and possibly some gusty winds. As far as what the wildfire smoke is going to do today, it's going to be pretty quiet to start the day if you're waking up in Boise and Ontario, but if you're anywhere in eastern Oregon, that heavier really smoke will still start with you. By the time we head into the afternoon and evening from Boise to Mountain Home, and even as you approach the Magic Valley, it'll grow a bit more denser at that time. So just a heads up there. Good start to the week. We've got mid-80s. With 90s and the weekend seeing that heat return.
The Boise Greenbelt is one of the most popular attractions and one of my favorites in the City of Trees. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Steve Denton. We take a ride with the Greenbelt ambassadors to find out how it's changed over the years.
I absolutely love it. You know, I've been doing it about 9 years now.
Brent Vance volunteers his time working in conjunction with the Boise Police Department to provide eyes and ears good job. In case of an emergency.
We have numbers for dispatch, and we can have the cops out here in just a matter of minutes.
But more than anything, Brent's a jack of all trades. What's your favorite section of the Greenbelt?
Bethune Church River Trail.
He will give people direction. He has tools to help bikes. He carries a med kit, a throw rope for the river, while also encouraging responsible use.
You know, you'll see the double lines up here. Of course, it means you're not supposed to pass. A lot of people do, but surprisingly, you don't see a whole lot of accidents out here.
But ever since we went through COVID, Brent has noticed the growth.
A lot more people I see on the Greenbelt, especially for a Wednesday when I patrol.
Brent's also noticed an increase in the variety of vehicles on the Greenbelt, especially when it comes to electric scooters and bikes.
I see more with the bikes, and I do see, now that you mentioned that, a lot of elderly people, and I think those e-bikes, they've helped them to get out and enjoy the Greenbelt when otherwise they maybe can't walk it.
The Boise City Council just passed an ordinance requiring users to maintain a reasonable and prudent speed on the Greenbelt.
You know, very seldom have I ever had to ask people to slow down.
Brent says if people can respect the rules, each other, and the wildlife,
all the baby geese are out.
It goes a long way in making the Greenbelt enjoyable for everybody.
Would your dog like a dog treat?
Absolutely. And there's nothing Brent enjoys more than handing out treats to his furry friends he encounters on this iconic Boise trail.
There you go, sweetie pie. They make my day, those dogs.
I'm your neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, for Idaho News 6.
In Wilder, how a community golf tournament is shaping the future of Hispanic students in Idaho. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez, highlighting how the Community Council of Idaho is teeing up support for first-generation students through scholarships. It's an event rooted in education, opportunity, and community. Business owners, families, and volunteers from all over the state showed up to show their support for the first-generation Idaho students through scholarships.
There's a lot of students that need just that little, boost to be able to attend college, and we're proud to be able to provide that to students across the state of Idaho.
The event sold out fast, proving just how deeply this community cares about investing in Idaho's next generation.
You know, the fact that this is the first tournament of the season that has sold out so quickly, it just makes me excited and happy that we have the support from our community for our kids and for our next generation to do better.
For many involved, the cause hits close to home, especially for those who come from agricultural, construction, and food service backgrounds.
Farm worker families, or what we call now like our agricultural or our construction workers or our food service, hospitality community or families, that I know that they want better for their kids.
For participants like RJ Gonzalez, who watched his dad support this cause for over 20 years, it's a tradition rooted in pride.
It's amazing, honestly. Growing up in a Hispanic household, being able to support other kids who didn't have the opportunities that a lot of people have growing up, it's a great feeling.
For myself, I was a first-generation college school graduate, and so it means a lot that we can provide this assistance to students to give them that opportunity. We know they want a brighter future for themselves, their families, and our communities.
Organizers tell me that because of this event, first-generation students are not only graduating college, they're building successful careers. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez in Wilder, Idaho, News 6.
Working through a Monday morning at 6:27, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Good Morning Idaho. And we've got a lot more in store for you on this Monday morning. Here's what's still to come from your neighborhood reporters.
In Star, what you need to know before you go for a swim at the Freedom Park Pond.
A local kayaker has finished second in the world in junior freestyle kayaking.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Hey everybody, Good Morning Idaho, and here we are on a Monday morning into our last half hour. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. We've got a packed show in this last half hour. Our large team of neighborhood reporters are Alexander Huddleston, for instance, following the efforts of the Idaho Downwinders, who, after getting their own compensation for nuclear waste exposure, now are looking to help another community that was exposed. Also coming up in our next half hour this morning, the Gonsalves family, critical of the Brian Koberger plea, as they say too many questions are left unanswered as a result. We're going to hear from them ahead of Koberger's sentencing, by the way, which is coming up this Wednesday. So we will get to all that in just a bit. But first, let's get the latest on our weather as you get ready to head out the door this morning. If you can wear shorts, this would be a decent day, probably.
Yeah, decent day for shorts. Overall, just cooler weather, but you're not going to want to forget the umbrella, especially if you're making your way over into eastern Oregon or anywhere up north. Right now, you have heavier showers moving in LeGrand to Baker City. Now, it is, again, really focused over those areas and starting to push over into even our West Central Mountains. But for us in the Treasure Valley and Magic Valley, it's a very quiet start to our morning. As we continue through the day, we're looking at rain for our afternoon, but also some wildfire smoke. So just to give you a good idea of what we're looking like, you've got a nice clear start waking up from Ontario into Boise. Light smoke building in throughout the later end of the day. It'll be a little bit heavier as you make your way from Mountain Home and into Glenns Ferry, but throughout majority of it, again, it's going to really just continue to stick with us, and then by tomorrow morning we should wake up a bit clearer out there. So it's kind of on and off as those wildfires continue, and I'll have an update also as to what we're looking like here closer to home, and then how the heat is going to return by the weekend.
It's been 3 years. There's a right way to end this. There's a right way to do this, and not a shortcut.
The parents of Kaylee Gonsalves joined by their attorney as they sat for an interview with ABC News. Father Steve Gonsalves echoing what he told me when I spoke to him here in person in Boise. The family are not fans of the plea deal.
Death penalty is the ultimate in providing justice for my daughter, and I don't know what kind of father wouldn't want the most for their child.
The Gonsalves family believing they had a strong case and they could have gotten the death penalty, and even if that process dragged on for years, it would have been a fair outcome in their eyes.
They were never going to see him die, but his life in prison would have been a lot different. And like Steve said, the difference between doing a life sentence, being in general population, having TV, having all access to the things that he wants to do, versus a death penalty sentence, which you're incarcerated 23 hours a day, 1 hour you're out.
Another frustration, felt by the parents and many who watched the case is without a trial, many of the details of what happened might never be known, from a motive to what happened to the murder weapon to whether he truly acted alone. Steve Gonzalez saying he doesn't want to hear about it if Kohberger were to write a book. Instead, the family wants to see the evidence that was to be used at trial, saying they'll do what it takes to get answers.
We had a conversation with the prosecutors already. We've asked for a copy of that discovery. They're going to provide it to us. We hope they keep their promise, because if they don't, we're left with public records requests.
In the end, the Gonsalveses say, front and center, it will always be about remembering the daughter they loved.
Just remember Kaylee as, you know, the light that she was. She was funny. She was smart. She loved having a good time with her friends. She loved her family. She loved taking her dog out. You know, just the happy person that she was.
Remember Kaylee Jade, and remember each one of these victims, and forget about this guy.
Join us on Wednesday, July 23rd for full team coverage of Kohberger's sentencing, where we expect to hear emotional victim impact statements from those families involved. We'll be streaming the sentencing live on IdahoNews6.com starting at 9 a.m., and our evening newscast will have further depth, context, and reactions. An update on the Cram fire, now nearly 100,000 acres large, burning in north central Oregon. The smoke from the fire is causing a light haze over the Treasure Valley right now, but crews made significant progress over the weekend with containment up to 73% now. Evacuation orders are also in effect, including level 3 go now orders for certain areas closest to the fire. You can find the latest evacuation orders on our website, IdahoNews6.com.
A quick warning before you jump in this water. I'm your Star neighborhood reporter Greenlee Clark at Freedom Park Pond, talking with swimmers and the mayor about reports of swimmer's itch. The Freedom Park Pond is a popular spot in Star, an area where families come to paddleboard, swim, and soak up the sun.
It's a great place. I'm new to Idaho 2 years, and it doesn't get any better than this. It's a great place.
Kat Johns and her dog decided to go for a float despite concerns and recent reports of swimmer's itch, an itchy rash that can develop after going in the water. Signs now posted around the pond.
Initial thought was read it and then make up your mind.
While some may choose to skip the dip, others are welcoming a more carefree approach, and some are taking precautions.
I swim here all the time, off shifts and on, and in between, like on my lunches.
From what I understand, though, if you just wash afterwards pretty quickly, then it takes care of itself.
Not just temporary, like it goes away. Have fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't scare me. I think that should just be a normal statement to just clean yourself after every body of water.
Rinse off after you're done swimming, wipe down with a towel, keep yourself clean.
The city stays on top of weekly water testing and posts results regularly online. Star Mayor Trevor Chadwick tells me they're working to remove shallow vegetation that attracts animals like snails and birds that worsen the problem.
In reality, the swimmer's itch is an allergic reaction to that parasite. Not everybody reacts to it, because we're actually going to put a shower station over here by the restroom building for people that swim. If they want to go shower off when they're done and dry off, you know, that'll take care of any of that problem as well.
If all goes to plan, Mayor Chadwick says the showers will be ready in a couple of months. I'm your Star neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, for Idaho News 6.
Esther Simplot Park was briefly closed last month to unsafe levels of E. coli, and it has since reopened, but swimmers should take precautions still. Here's a look at this week's numbers at several popular sites. Officials usually take action when E. coli levels hit 235 units per milliliter. Based on testing done last Tuesday, Esther Simplot Pond 1 is below the limit, but not by much. It's gross to think about, but the E. coli bacteria comes from fecal matter, including dogs, geese, and humans. You can help protect the water, clean up after your dogs, don't feed the geese, and put young children in swim diapers. You can protect yourself by not drinking the water and showering after recreating in it. It's an opportunity to use your skills to help others. The city of Boise is seeking volunteers for its regular Repair Cafe events. Whether you're great with tools, sewing, or even electronics, you can help fellow residents breathe new life into broken items and keep them out of the landfill. The next event is scheduled for the end of August. Apply on the City of Boise's website. 6:38, let's take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood today. A public meeting tonight for a proposed nuclear power generator in Jerome County. You might recall from our reporting that the nuclear generators would be built on land near where the Lava Ridge Wind Project was once planned. You can learn more about this in Lori and Nettleton's story on our website, and that first meeting tonight is at 7 o'clock at the Jerome County Courthouse. And with Monday comes the Meridian Night Market, running every Monday from 4 to 9 at Story Park. You can expect local vendors, food trucks, and live music, plus face painting and balloon animals for the kids. It's free to attend, and free parking can be found at Story Park and at the Speedway. And over in Burley, the Magic Valley Folk Festival kicks off today, starting at 7 o'clock tonight with a free Rupert Square kickoff. You can expect vibrant gala performances and free community shows. The Folk Fest aims to promote friendship across all backgrounds while enriching lives through cultural events. Tickets are on sale now, and the festival runs through Saturday.
The Horseshoe Bend Volunteer Fire Department is facing many new challenges because of the growth on both sides of the hill.
We deal with car accidents, cars in the river, vehicle extrication, wildland fires, structure fires, all sorts of, everything.
The 18 or so Horseshoe Bend volunteer firefighters are getting stretched thin because of growth. Chief Matt Mary said they are always looking for more volunteers.
We would train them, teach them how to do things. They just need to walk in and just show up.
Captain Jordan Jones was recruited after a volunteer fireman helped save his life.
I was in a bad car accident, and one of my friends that was on the fire department cut me out of the vehicle. And then later on down the road, he's like, I want you to join the fire department.
Jones wanted to give back to the community, something Fire Captain Lori Lindstrom says the Burnout Fund does.
The cash that we collect, if somebody has a structure fire and they're displaced from their homes, we do give them anywhere between $500 to $1,000 so they can be somewhere to go, some resources that they have for that night.
But maintaining trucks, vehicles, and equipment cost money, and that's the other area they would like to see some help from down the road.
Just to put it in perspective for the constituents of Horseshoe Bend, I love libraries. I know that they're a great thing, but our city library brings in more tax funding than our fire protection district does. I don't want to ask for more money or taxes. I hate taxes just as much as everybody else. But we're growing and things are getting a little hectic around here. I think the biggest thing would just to be more vocal and get involved. We do have fire commissioners meetings.
With growth comes education to new homeowners and residents.
I think people that move here don't realize that this is a volunteer department and they may or may not receive services when they need it the most.
For now, they will continue to answer the bell and service their fire district to the best of their abilities.
Hey Ketchum, good morning. You've got lower 80s this afternoon, but we'll be looking at a chance of storms. I'll have all the details you need to know coming up.
A local kayaker finished second in the world for junior freestyle. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Denton. I introduce you to Mateo Kowalczyk and find out more about freestyle kayaking and how some of the features here in Idaho helped Mateo on his journey to Europe.
It's basically gymnastics, but in a kayak. So I'm surfing a wave and I'm doing flips and tricks.
It took a lot of hours surfing waves for Mateo to progress to an elite level. Only 3 kayakers went to Worlds for Team USA Junior Boys Freestyle.
It felt so great because I've been training since summer of 2024 just to make the United States Freestyle Kayaking team. Because there is only 3 junior spots, it takes a lot of work to even make the team.
Mateo from the United States. This summer, Mateo went to Germany, where he trained for 2 weeks, then competed against 45 of the best juniors in the world, and he won the silver medal.
And I just wanted to shout out my parents, Jackson Kayak and Jitawson Group and Idaho River United worked alongside me too to help fund my journey over there. I just am so grateful for the experience, and I'm so happy to come out with a silver medal.
But it also helps to have these river features to practice on so close to home.
Yeah, I'm super fortunate growing up in Boise, having a whitewater park 5 minutes away from my house, like the Boise Whitewater Park, really helps me to train. I can go before school, I can go after school.
Mateo graduated from Boise High this past spring and plans on studying nursing at Montana State this fall. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Dent for Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Man, that's crazy. I don't think I could ever do anything like that on the river. And a few moments ago, I did say he was Benson booning because he's doing all those flips. But either way, maybe you're flipping into this afternoon or you're not, and you're going to be like a normal person, just walk into it. It's going to be a nice, cool one ahead. You'll notice over McCall, and this is a still shot we have, clouds have increased in this area, as well as, well, looking at our temperatures, it feels nice and cool, but it'll remain even cooler into our afternoon and evening. Now, throughout the day, you are going to notice some periods of on and off showers if you're in those west central mountains or in eastern Oregon. And the larger picture of why we're seeing this is this front moving through. It's going to stall out over the area, but what this does for us is it increases that northwesterly flow, so all of that cool air from Canada starts to make its way towards us. As it does, that's going to give us a nice cool your valley floors. So the hottest spot on the map today is going to be 92 over in Glenns Ferry, with lower 80s making way from Stanley into Pine. And as we move through it, again, it is going to be nice and cool, but we also will be looking at those chances of storms for this afternoon ahead. This goes all the way from Washington, Oregon, and our northern portions of Idaho, but it doesn't really necessarily include Boise or Mountain Home. But if you're in the Magic Valley and east of that area, you're also included. So here's what it looks like, and let's just really time out the next couple of hours so you know what to expect. Grab the umbrellas you had out this morning. You've got from Baker City upwards to Toulouse and those showers pushing through. Moving into that later afternoon around 6 o'clock, you'll notice that they start to really scatter from Rome upwards towards our west central mountains. At this time, it's very calm and quiet in our Treasure and Magic Valley, so I don't really think we'll see a lot of impacts here in our valley floors, rather that higher elevation, so across those west central mountains and into eastern Oregon. By tomorrow morning, things quiet down here a lot, and you notice that you just have that stream of clouds influxing, but throughout the afternoon and evening ahead, we'll see another round of scattered showers from eastern Oregon all the way over into those east and west central mountains. So just a heads up that this is going to be on and off throughout the day today, but again, it's going to be pretty quiet for us here in our valley floors. As far as our fires go, let's get an update here. You've got 95,000 acres sitting at the Cram Fire. From the Big Bear Fire to the Rush Fire, we have seen these two grown, and these are the ones that are closer to home for us. Upwards towards 7,000 acres for the Big Bear Fire. The Rush Fire now sitting at about 6,000. So they have grown, but hopefully with this rain starting to move in, that'll help really bring on some relief for those wildfire efforts. Now, today, tomorrow are going to be the coolest days of the week, so if you had any outdoor plans, you will just need the umbrella for today if you get caught in one of those stray showers, but otherwise it's going to be nice and cool. So enjoy those afternoons ahead, mid-80s even into tomorrow. By Wednesday, lower 90s, and the heat, it does return. We get it right just in time for the weekend. You get mid-90s heading in from Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. But there's still plenty of sunshine out there, so again, just make sure you enjoy that cooler weather that's coming our way this afternoon. And we know the heat's sneaking back up on us. So what also is sneaking back up on us is our Monday morning commute. So let's go take a look at your roads.
Idaho News 6 traffic is brought to you by Champion Windows.
6:51 is your time, and we're giving you a look of downtown where the clouds are slowly increasing, but the sun is shining. And if you're heading out on your Monday morning, it's going to be a good Monday for you. Here's a look at your roads right now. Very quiet, which is how we like to start our Mondays. Hopefully it stays this way as we continue through our morning together. This is I-84 from Kuna Meridian eastbound. It's starting to get really pretty busy out there, so just a heads up for my Kuna and Meridian drivers. Otherwise, the roads still look pretty quiet. You've got I-84 Broadway Avenue looking like another slow spot for us this morning, so if you're heading that way, you should be okay. Drive times right now from Chinden Boulevard onto US 20 eastbound, sitting at just under 13 minutes.
In this morning's GMA First Look, new details from the scene of that chilling murder in Maine.
There was a murder amongst us and we didn't even know it.
Early evening, July 2nd, Sunshine Stewart took a swim, then hopped on her paddleboard to explore splendid Crawford Pond. She never returned. Police found her strangled and bludgeoned to death on 100-acre island. 2 weeks later, authorities identified the suspect as 17-year-old Devin Young. He was taken into custody Thursday and charged with depraved indifference murder. He denied the allegations.
Nobody was looking for a child. We were looking for an adult.
And this morning, the owner of that campground is speaking out exclusively to GMA.
I looked at the surveillance, went back to the surveillance cameras to see where he was at the time. And those surveillance videos indicated he was on the lake at the time.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the very latest on this urgent investigation. With your GMA First Look, I'm Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho, everybody. We are starting to wrap things up about 4 minutes before the hour, and before we head over to GMA this morning, we're wrapping up with some of the stories that we are following from our neighborhood reporters today. Public media is at risk after the House voted to rescind over $1 billion in federal funding from public broadcasters across the U.S. Boise State Public Radio says this change could put rural Idahoans especially at risk. Leaders of the Idaho Downwinders movement were able to finally get compensation for themselves, but many in Guam are dealing with the same consequences of nuclear waste. Idaho Downwinders now working to get them compensated as well. And over in Banks, the Whitewater Rapids have become increasingly popular, creating parking headaches on the weekends. Some boaters even parking illegally on the Banks grade. You can learn more about all of these stories on our website, idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
Hey everyone, 6:57 is your time, and you've got lower 60s as you head out for your morning. By lunchtime or even later lunch. 79. It's going to feel nice and cool through the afternoon. We'll be topping out in those lower 80s. You heard me right. So again, if you are going to maybe take a walk around the Greenbelt, it's going to be nice and cool throughout the day. You'll want the umbrella though if you're heading anywhere into eastern Oregon or up towards our west or east central mountains. If you want to read more about the forecast, head on over to idahonews6.com. Right now, we're going to get you ready for your morning commute.
Idaho News 6 traffic is brought to you by Champion Windows.
57 is now your time. It looks like I was a minute off. Anyways, this is the look of downtown right now. Clouds increasing, the sun is shining. It's a nice quiet start for our Monday morning. If you're heading out on your Monday and you have the Monday scaries, don't worry. We're getting through this together. Here's a look at downtown right now. Nice and green commutes all around. Now it is starting to build up just a bit on I-84 as you travel eastbound. Again, that's expected at this time of day, but you've got I-84 eastbound Caldwell, Garrity to Eagle, and Eagle into downtown, all between 13 and 7 minutes. So it's a nice smooth start to our Monday rolling, and it's nice and cool. So it's a good start to the week already.
I mean, relatively speaking, to have temperatures anything below 100 right now, I'm happy with. So that's great. Hey, listen, there's some things that just take off on the internet, and there's reasons for it. But you've been watching this, right? The Coldplay concert where the CEO of a major company gets seen on camera with apparently his mistress, yes. But what's funny is all the stuff that people put online now afterwards imitating this.
You know, I think everyone feels that way when they walk into their Monday. They want to just hide and run away from it. And, you know, in that sense, it's relatable. But in the other sense, also, the truth's always going to come out. So.
Yeah, he's resigned from his company, and I mean, all from just a random thing like that. Isn't that just crazy? I mean, you can say that's karma, I guess.
Yeah, karma does come around. Well, it's Monday. Hopefully only good karma for all of us.
Right,
today.
exactly. All right, thanks, Sophia. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Look outside. It's a beautiful day. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.